Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Spellbinder doing the weekly newsletter of the Unfiltered News from the Reality Zones compiled by G. Edward Griffith and his News Scouts. This is for the week of April 21st through the 27th, 2012. And this week's comic strip is Goldman Sachs gives you change, takes your wallet. That makes perfect sense. That's what they do. That's how they roll. Okay, now for this week. The headlines are, EPA official has promised to crucify energy-producing companies. This is the attitude of most of the federal government towards industrial America. As a result, industry has fled overseas. Unemployment has skyrocketed. The Department of Interior has Salazar says that gas prices could raise to $9 a gallon. That's what they want. Gouging your pocket. Keep you poor. So you can't fight against them. When we elect people who hate capitalism, that's what we get. WorldNet Daily, April 26. Obama orders the Labor Department to enforce child labor laws on family farms. They've retracted this since the politicians in the rural areas cried out and said, you can't do that. This will make it illegal for children under 18 to help in the storing, marketing, or transport of products from their parents' farms. Additionally, independent training and certification through 4-H clubs will be replaced by a government training program. InfoWars, April 25th. Yeah, I've just read on Drudge that they retracted it under complaint. So it may not happen at this time. It's been put off. Dirty tricks in New York. GOP chairman made a last-minute robocall to Republican voters urging them to vote for Mitt Romney's Mittens must win. We gotta have an Obama light. And told them that all other candidates have dropped out of the race. That's the news to Ron Paul. He says, I'm in it to the end. That was a lie. Ron Paul did not drop out of the race. Listen to his recorded message here. Digital Journal, April 25th. Goldman Sachs has hired a public relations expert to improve on the tarnished image of its CEO, Lloyd Blankfein. It is a tough assignment considering recent scandals and pending perjury charges. Fox Business, April 25th. California dairy cow is discovered to have mad cow disease, which is caused by cows eating discarded parts of slaughtered animals that have been grounded up and added to their feed. Most body parts from mammals have been banned from animal feed, but not all. Officials have said that this case was a random mutation. Sure, not a case of animal feed contamination, although it is not clear how they know that. Natural Society, April 25th. Yeah, when you feed a cow meat, it develops weird brain diseases and it affects the entire meat. Cows are not meant to eat meat. They eat grass and grain. They don't eat meat. I don't know where they got this idea. You can just ground up another cow and feed it to other cows. That's called cannibalism of cows, isn't it? To another cow. Man, Israeli military chief says it's unlikely that Iran will build nuclear weapons and warns Israel to avoid hysteria about that possibility. This is contrary to the line advanced by the civilian government. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu recently said in an interview with CNN that there were no questions about Iran's nuclear weapons program and that the international sanctions had better work soon. Anti-war, April 24th. Yeah, they were bending over for a guy called Netanyahu who changed his name from a German name. He's actually a German. Check it out. You'll find out that he's actually German and he's running Israel. BP oil engineer is arrested for intentionally deleting 300 email messages about the enormous flow of oil in the spill. BP's report to the public were at much lower levels. We expect top decision makers to claim that they were not aware of these messages. Of course, Bloomberg, April 24th. Yeah, that's why we got a bunch of shrimp out there with their eyes falling off and crabs losing their crab feet, pinchers. Yeah, that's normal with the co-exit. Yeah. They said some type of biological, like a bacterium or something. It's attacking the crustaceans. Anyways, this is a noted article. to keep. Contrary to the predictions of global warming myth makers, world temperatures have risen only 1/4 of 1 degree over the last 20 years. Meanwhile, the economic burden of so-called green policies are rising dramatically. Higher costs are yet to come. Daily Mail, April 24. That's right, they're just making this stuff up as they go because they're mad they didn't get it the first time. They're just pounding on it. If anyone's creating global warming, it's the crony corporate companies out there, like oil companies, polluting the air and everything. Who do you think is doing this? It's the corporations that don't clean up after themselves. That's just what's happening. These corporations go out there and make all this pollution and expect us to pay for it. They're not taking responsibility. They're irresponsible for what they're doing, and they need to be punished for it. If they're not taking care of the pollution that they're creating, they need to be punished. And it's true. You just Google stuff about South American oil projects, and they're saying they're killing all the natives down there in the Amazon. They're drinking water that's contaminated with oil because they just leave pools of oil all over the place, and it's just wrong. And they're trying to blame us for it. Let's blame the people for what we do. That way we won't be responsible. That's what they're thinking. I'm telling you, these crony corporations across the world, New World Order corporations. U.S. Ron Paul they're money junkies. The U.S. Ron Paul is quietly gaining delegates at the GOP nominating convention despite mainstream media's insistence that Romney will receive the nomination. Other strategies also exist, such as nominating Paul from the floor of the convention in Florida in August. In other words, it ain't over until it's over. And the actions is expected to be intense. So expect to have a nice fight arena going on in the next months. Reason, April 24th. Go Ron Paul, go. MF Global missing $1.6 million has been traced. They found it. Hopefully Clemente will get his money back. Most of the customer's money was used to pay for MF's own obligations, and a substantial amount went to other financial firms like, guess what, JP Morgan. MF Global customers may recover about 70% of their funds. That's better than nothing. Criminal prosecution is undecided at this time. Oh, they better prosecute for that. That's fraud. New York Magazine, April 23rd. Prominent global warming promoters James Lovelock admits that he was wrong about his prediction of weather catastrophe. Daily Mail, April 23rd. Yes, he was. He's starting to realize that, you know what, we're not going to get away with this carbon tax crap. That's what he's thinking. U.S. Bank Secretary Act requires banks to report to the IRS any deposit over $10,000. So then the IRS will know who to come to get some money. Those who earn more than that are divided their earnings into 2 or more deposits is assumed to have done so to circumvent the law. That makes them criminals, and they will lose all or substantial part of their deposits. The Obama administration is using this law to seize the savings of independent farmers, but no one is exempt. FFG, April 23rd. UN calls for global war on crime and pledges to fight organized crime in the drug trade and corruption in developing world. That's right, we're going to go out and do it. We're Superman. The UN itself is the largest syndicate of organized crime in the world. The very people going after it, what? They're going after themselves? Or just going after the minions that work for them? Or just going after us? See, that's how that works. The most so-called wars on crime are mere ploys to justify higher taxation, increased government power without reducing crime at all. Governments have an incentive to perpetuate, crime as an excuse for continuing and expanding their funding and police forces. That's right, we can't rule the world unless the world is a police state. That's why war on crime or drugs are never won. They're making too much money off of the crime. They're making money having a job, and then the criminals are making money too. Everyone's making money except the people. We're being robbed. This article is pure propaganda. Global Post, April 23rd. Yeah, the UN trying to say they're heroes and they're not. They're criminals. The same as the ones they're saying they're after. U.S. has reached a deal with Afghanistan to keep U.S. military and funding there long after 2014. The previous deadline for withdrawal, details are not being released. SMH, April 23rd. Iceland, former Prime Minister Geir Hardy, I guess, is found guilty of criminal negligence that contributed to the country's financial crisis in 2008. But he will not be punished. No bankers were charged for any crimes. CNN, April 23rd. But yet they did tell him that the people told him that we're not paying you the money that you say we owe. That was good enough for them. They didn't have to pay. I think we should do the same. If we don't punish them, at least we don't have to pay them. Which is say it's a forgiveness time for all debts. A jubilee, as they call it in the Catholic religion. Every 50 years we should have a jubilee. And it's overdue for one now. We are way overdue for a jubilee. U.S. homeowners across the country file class action lawsuit against major banks for fraud and money laundering. The lawsuit charges that banks were aided in the crime by the Obama administration in violation of the Patriot Act. Although it seems that these charges are justified and easily documented, we don't expect the federal courts to allow the case to proceed. That's because the federal courts are not with the people. Nevertheless, we applaud the plaintiffs and their attorneys for bringing the issue into the public spotlight. Market Watch, April 23rd. Like the Supremes. They were all appointed. Some of them were appointed by Obama. You think they're going to vote against him? That's why they got their job. Dutch Prime Minister resigns after failed attempt to gain agreement over austerity cuts. Al Jazeera, as is, April 23rd. Oh, here's one here with more of the pharmaceutical poisoners. You know, their drugs are poison, but anything natural is illegal. Merrick is ordered to pay $321 million fine, in addition to a $600 million already paid off. Pocket change, I'm telling you. They make billions a year. For its illegal marketing practices and off-label promotion of the drug Vioxx. Vioxx caused 40,000 deaths from heart attacks. A $921 million fine with no punishment of the executives responsible. See that? They pay themselves out of it. They're making so much money over these synthetic drugs made from oil, 90% of them, that they're just able to pay off the stuff now. And just say, oh, okay, here, have a couple of million. That's just pocket change. We'll pay that. We made billions already. It's considered as a reasonable cost for doing business. See, the reasonable cost for doing business compared to the much larger profits generated from the drug sales. See, that's exactly what I just said. News Inferno, April 23rd. Video, U.S. Former NSA official William Biney says the government is collecting emails and other data on all Americans, not because they are suspects of being terrorists, but so the information can be used against anyone the government decides it doesn't like. That's right. It's putting you in the NDAA and making you disappear because you said something against the government, and now they have proof of what you said. Though the government is supposed to allow this under the First Amendment. We're allowed to have grievances with our government and voice them. But they're saying, no, you're not allowed to do that anymore. There's no First Amendment in that nature. By now, almost everyone knows that, but it is surprising to hear it from someone on the inside. YouTube, April 21st. And it's true. That's what they're after. They're after you. You're the enemy. If you're not with us, you're against us. Remember, Bush said that. That's the most cronyest thing you can say, and say that, especially if you're a crony. Man, Spain has outlawed cash transactions over 2,500 euros or $3,282 to make sure taxes are paid on all meaningful transactions. The eventual goal of the most governments is to abolish cash altogether, which not only will raise more tax revenue, but also make it possible for authorities to cut off anyone from economic transactions if they fail or fall into disfavor with the government. See, it's another control freak thing. April 21st from Daily Bell. And it is. It's a control freaks. These people are control freaks, and they want to control you. They want you to be slaves. Don't you know? And that's how they can control you. They say, well, you're not going to pay this or do what we tell you there. You got no money, no food. Well, now what are you going to do? Now we're going to watch you starve. That's what the government's up to. That's what they're going towards. That's why the government is the Antichrist. There is no personal Antichrist. The government body is the Antichrist. Just look at them. They're anti-Christian. They're anti-most religions. Think about it. United Nations Rio Conference on Sustainable. Oh, wait a second. Let me go with this one. U.S. government is spending $100 million each year to train foreign workers in the Philippines to speak English so they can work in call centers that take jobs away from Americans. You know, the people who you call about your credit card or some problem you have with a store, and you get somebody like in India where they're going, yes, what do you want to say? You want to know the country? And you're going, huh? You can't understand them. Daily Caller, April 21st. United Nations Rio Conference on Sustainable Development. You know, the Agenda 21, take America away from us, the land. In June, proposes an array of new carbon taxes and other green boondoggles that will cost trillions and further centralize global power under the UN and control over our country. Examiner, April 21st. That's all it is. It's to get you out of the countryside and put you in a city and turn you into a sardine can while they, what they call, rewild the countryside, which is basically handing over ownership to the banksters and others. UK. Report attributes small earthquakes to hydraulic fracking, a process of high-pressure injection of water and highly toxic chemicals into the earth and groundwater to improve oil and gas yield. British bankers or banksters and politicians, crony, are committed to the development of natural gas, so no one calls for an end to such practices. That's because they're making too much money. Instead, the report recommends measures that will limit the damage to acceptable levels. Oh yeah, we can't do something that's against the EPA, but they will. EPA will give them freeway to do whatever they want. It does not say what those levels are or how to do it. Oil price, posted April 21st. Here's another wonderful thing. Mexico, Walmart paid, this is great. Mexico, Walmart paid more than $24 million in bribes to permit to build stores nationwide. This violates U.S. law, which forbids bidding or bribing officials, actually they bribe them in other countries. Before agreeing that Walmart is an evil company, consider that paying mordida bribes is the tradition in Mexico and many other countries. When companies pay bribes in the U.S. to obtain favors, it's legal because they are called campaign contributions. Oh, now you know why Obama bends over to the corporates. They give him the most money. What's the difference? Really, what's the difference in bribery down in another country and campaign contributions in the states of the U.S.? There's really no difference. USA Today, April 21st. They just, people, you got to realize we got cronies running everything. Sociopathic cronies running the country. Basically, the patients are running the asylum. That's what it is. They're crazy. Video. Architects and engineers solved the mystery of Building 7 that imploded on 9/11, despite the fact that no plane hit it. We published a link to this excellent video last summer, but it is well worth repeating. This issue will not go away until the truth is widely known and the criminals have been punished. And we can only pray and hope. YouTube, April 25th. Video. If I wanted to make, this is great. If I wanted America to fail, is a short but powerful statement about how Americans have been tricked and you have, into supporting policies that will cause the collapse of our country or of their country. YouTube, April 21st. Watch this video. It's excellent. It will tell you. The guy puts it off and saying, if I wanted to do this or do that, and he does it, and it's basically this what has happened. It basically tells you this is what has happened already. This is like past tense, but talked as if in the future, well, this is what I could do. It's an excellent video. It's worth copying and collecting if you have a video library of current affairs like I do. Video. Jerry Day explains how people can protect themselves from smart meters, extortion, and create a legal case against the utility companies for pushing their harmful meters on us. YouTube, April 19th. Oh, here we go. This is bad. Gulf of Mexico ecosystem continues to be decimated as a result of BP oil spill 2 years ago and all the Chlorexit that's been sprayed in there. Here is a compendium of articles and research papers showing that marine animals are sick, really sick, deformed, and dying. The area is still spewing oil. Like I said, go on the Google Maps and look over the Gulf. You'll see these spots where you see the oil still coming up in these areas. The government and the major media continue to ignore this evidence because they're being paid to ignore them. Washington Blog, April 18th. Yeah, they got, what, shrimp with no eyes, crabs with no crab pinchers. It's bad. And now they're saying that the tiger shrimp, the big giant shrimp, is coming in there and eating all of it up, and they're saying it's becoming an invasive species. Wonder why. And that is the news for this week. These are the other articles that's basically Reality Zone related, and also news or comments and stuff. Well, I'm going to leave it here. You got to see what's going on. I mean, it's just getting worse and worse. Nothing's getting better. It's just getting worse and worse. And I think most of it's because we're just sitting on our butts for some reason. I don't know why we're sitting on our butts. Do we have to sit on our butts? I mean, really. It's like Texas. They used to be rough and tough and everything, and now they're starting to sit down and roll over and belly up on certain issues and articles and things. It's just wrong. We've become passive too much. For some reason, we've been tranquilized by the fluoride and everything, and we're just sitting back going, wow, dancing with the stars. Ooh. Or blackout. Ooh, watch people being tortured in the dark with critters and things on sci-fi. That's a new one there. That sounds like to me a new type of torture. Put someone in a dark room with a bunch of things and have them run around in the room and terrify themselves to death with it. Oh, there's a new torture thing. Well, until next time, this is Spellbinder saying, be good or be good at it, and have a wonderful weekend, and keep yourself on the current affairs. Keep reading news articles. Go through alternative news like the Drudge Report, InfoWars, Prison Planet, news reviews. I can just Mike Rivero's site, What Really Happened. I mean, just keep up on this stuff. It's happening out there. You'll be able to know exactly what's going on and be able to write your own articles and do your own videos on these subjects, because this stuff is just really bad and it's not getting any better. Good day.